I'm not a lawyer, but I just got back from Dirk's August 13th pretrial hearing, so let me fill you in on the highlights. And as a reminder, Dirk's federal trial is currently scheduled to begin on August 20th, 2026. So this hearing happened exactly 1 week before jury selection and the trial is supposed to start. And there was a lot to go over, so try to keep up. So first up was Dirk's Piss Me Off video. The government filed a motion asking for that video to be allowed in the trial because, according to them, it was Dirk basically issuing a call to arms. The government specifically referenced the lyrics, quote, "While you act like you support us, if you do, hop in that coupe.
Grab a gun if you ain't with it, put up money for a gun.
Put up money for a hot car. Put up money for a bond." So the government argued that this was Dirk expressing his anger and disappointment of other people not sliding for bond. And they say one of their cooperating witnesses was on the scene when the video for that song was filmed. And this person is also the person who allegedly got the hot car that was used in this LA murder. And this witness says it was done at the direction of Dirk. So in regards to this argument of this music video being allowed in, the judge allowed both sides to make their arguments, and at the end, he ordered that the music video can be used in the trial. Okay, next up was the argument regarding evidence from Dirk's cell phone that law enforcement obtained after his house was robbed back in 2021 in Georgia. But before we get into this argument, there's some important context that you need to understand. So back in 2021, when law enforcement first got Dirk's phone, they did an extraction on it. But they did that extraction under what's called before first unlock. And that basically means law enforcement was able to power Dirk's phone on, but they were not able to unlock it. And so when an extraction is done on a phone that's turned on but not unlocked, only some information is able to be exported. So in this case, when law enforcement did the extraction, they were able to retrieve a bunch of thumbnails with dates and times, but they're not able to see who sent those thumbnails or if Dirk responded to the thumbnails or any other context related to the thumbnails. And so while the government has 3 to 4 thumbnails that they found in the extraction and want to use in the trial, one containing the address of Lil Tim, aka Timothy Leaks, one is a flyer about a concert Quando Rondo had, and then the third one is some kind of article that references the time Quando Rondo got shot in Georgia. Dirk's attorney, Christy O'Connor, made the argument that it's unfair to use these thumbnails because nobody has the full context of them. So the government is left with 2 options. Number 1, Dirk can give them the password to the phone, and that way they can unlock it and get the full context of these thumbnails, which is clearly never going to happen. Or the second option is the government has some kind of IT person somewhere to hack the phone. And so as of right now, they're trying to hack it. But in the meantime, while this phone has not been hacked, Dirk's attorney says whatever's on this phone should not be allowed in the trial. And just to be clear, this thumbnail context issue is just one of the reasons Christy O'Connor is arguing that the phone evidence should not be allowed in. She also argued that the phone shouldn't have been taken in the first place back in 2021, and that law enforcement has had it for 5 years, despite one of Dirk's attorneys asking for it back. And then the third reason is Dirk's attorney says if the phone is able to be hacked, they would want their own experts to review the contents of the phone. And with trial starting in a week, there's no time for that. So the judge makes a few decisions on this issue. Number 1, the issue overall is being taken under submission, but all parties should prepare as if the judge is going to allow the phone evidence in. And then number 2, while the judge is deciding if the evidence will come in, the government should continue trying to hack it. And if they are able to get in, and if the judge does allow the evidence in, it wouldn't come in until toward the end of the trial so that the defense has enough time to get an expert to review the hacked phone. Okay, the next issue was the government's motion for a gag order, and that motion was denied. The judge said a gag order is not necessary right now. And then after that was the government's motion to exclude testimony from 4 experts that Dirk wants to testify. But the judge denied this request, saying that his normal practice is to allow all experts to testify and then let the jury decide who they believe. Next up had to do with the government's motion in limine number 6, which was filed under seal, so we weren't able to actually read what it says. But during the hearing, this motion was brought up, and it seems to be about the government wanting to play clips from 10 of Dirk's songs. After hearing arguments about this, the judge told the government to pick 2 of the 10 songs, and they can decide if those will be discussed at the next hearing. Okay, so there were a few more rulings, but I'm going to jump to some of the other highlights from the day that you might find interesting. Number 1 is the government says they have 35 witnesses that they want to testify in this trial. And the judge was shocked by this number. Shocked. But the government followed that up by saying only 20 of the 35 are actually substantive. The other 15 are more of a formality. And if the government and the defense can come to some kind of stipulation regarding some of those, they won't be necessary to testify. Okay, and then lastly, the trial is expected to last 2 to 3 weeks, going Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Jury selection is scheduled to start on Thursday, August 20th, and openings are scheduled to start on Friday. For opening statements, each side will get 1 hour, and because there are 3 defendants, they will have to split that 1 hour up however they choose. Okay, I think that's it. Bye.